I'm Ben Silverio.
And I'm Ansel Burch.
And it's
time to party. We are not doctors. We don't give medical advice. Please drink responsibly. Today's episode was recorded on April 16th, 2024.
Party people, welcome back. This is Time to Party. We're your hosts. Hope you know us.
That's right. Yeah, we said our names a minute ago. You probably, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we've been acquainted. We go way back.
It says it on the logo.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And, you know, since we go way back, we want to give you a special gift. You know,
one of our own memories?
Look at that. It's like a little party favor. More party favors. Yeah, we have some cool stuff going on here at Time to Party. We were able to speak to the filmmaker behind the new Hulu film from Searchlight Pictures called The Greatest Hits.
If you're listening to this on release day, it is only 4 weeks old. You can still be in the first wave.
It's true. And, Ned Benson, the director, the writer, was gracious enough to let us speak to him for a little while and discuss the movie and time travel and a bunch of stuff. And we're going to share that with you, some of it with you today.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you like it. I mated this.
Yeah, we like to talk about time travel here on Time to Party, weirdly enough. So I think let's start with a clip talking a little bit about the time travel mechanism in this movie, and then we can get into the meat of our own review of this incredible time travel piece.
We had a lot of we were doing a lot of push-ins on sliders and stuff. So if you look for particularly the one on the needle on the record, or like Harriet sitting there, or just if you look at the needle on the record, every time there's time travel happening, the needle and the record have an interaction. So even in the first shot, paying attention to it's subtle, but if you look closely, you'll see that sort of connection start to glow. So I think maybe every time you see one of those glows, you can have a shot.
Awesome.
I love that. Thanks, past us. Oh man, what a lovely piece of insight. I liked his commentary on the needle hitting the record. I enjoyed that he thought of it as subtle. I didn't think it was particularly subtle, because I was like, yeah, time travel, light up. Woo!
It's like the what do you call it? The flux capacitor lighting up, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, and the lightning strike along the cable that follows, that was what the vibe it was giving me more than anything else.
Absolutely. I mean, after
the streak of light after the wheels.
Yes, exactly. Once he mentioned Back to the Future, I was just like, yes, obviously, I can totally see that now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But how doesn't Back to the Future impact any time travel movie after it? You know, it has to be in the conversation at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If only visually.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, how did you feel about the time travel mechanism, Ansel? You thought you bought into it?
I did. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool how it evolved over the course of the movie, at least from my perspective. Because at the beginning, I was all prepared for the time travel mechanism to have strict requirements and mechanisms. And, so I was like, okay, so she has to have a drink of Jameson. She has to sit in this chair. She has to use this record player. And then over the course of the movie, it's like, oh, no, it's any music anywhere. Okay. Oh, no, you don't have to be a little bit inebriated in order for it to work. It's just all the damn time. And it's not like a long progression, but I definitely at the beginning thought that it was going to be more like she has to get into this ritual headspace. It made me think about the movie that we haven't covered yet, but we're going to cover in the future somewhere in time with Christopher Reeve, where he has to psych himself into the time travel headspace before he falls through time.
Right.
And I was prepared. I was very prepared for that to be the case with this movie, and it wasn't, which was a delightful twist for just me.
And now we're going to throw it over to future us's with that review. Yeah, like the thing I really loved about this movie is how it manages to blend nostalgia with music and grief. You know, like it's not a rom-com. Would it be a rom-dram?
Rom-dram, yeah.
Rom-dram. A sci-fi rom-dram. It's a thing. We're making it
the
happen.
best kind. Yep. Sci-fi rom-dram. You heard it here first.
We'll make t-shirts.
Yeah.
But, you know, another thing we talked about in the conversation with Ned was just how the cast carries this emotional weight so well.
Yeah.
You know, you made a good point of pointing out Morris, who is played by Austin Crute.
Yeah.
God, Morris is so sassy.
Morris is... I do think Morris falls into the unfortunate trope of being the, like, sassy black friend who solves a lot of problems.
But he's like a good
so
friend.
Perfectly.
You know, like...
Such a great friend.
He's pushing Harriet's limits, you know, pushing up against her comfort zone in this perfectly curated world that she built. Well, not curated world, but more like prison, right?
Yeah, this auditory prison. And I, as I mentioned in the interview, I really appreciated that he facilitates her safety.
Yeah.
To a degree of fault, but he's there to provide that safe space. Like, you know, as an audiophile, she can't go a lot of places, but when she knows he's spinning, she's safe going to his shows or to the record store. And I can only imagine someone who needs records to continue their fixation, but can't go into a record store without, you know, earplugs and headphones in.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Also, how do you drive with headphones and earplugs in? Don't you need to hear the things around you?
I mean, usually, I would think so. Yes is the answer. I think legally the answer is yes. I was a little surprised that, well, not surprised. Now that you mention it, it is a little surprising that she doesn't take them off when she's in her car.
Yeah. But then again, we see the result of that she gets in a car accident.
She gets into a car accident because her headphones fall off. Yeah.
So I guess, you know, we really do see the ramifications of what this lifestyle she's built for herself brings about. We see the results
and I mean,
of her making a conscious choice to hide out in her grief, to quote the movie.
Yeah. Yep. Which, boy, if that isn't relatable.
Right. Oh, my God. I don't know about you, but the majority of my notes are just quotes from the movie. Like,
I definitely have a few of those. Yeah. I
mean, there was one later in the film where I think it's David asks Harriet, are you okay? And she just says no. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I know that feel.
Yeah, that's legit.
You know, it's
and so refreshing to see a character get to be that vulnerable,
right? And like, I don't know if it's just the state of the world or age or whatever, but if someone asks me how are you doing, I'm not gonna lie anymore.
Yep.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Not great. How about you?
Yep. Well, it is that's the thing going around now. The, like, being a good friend in the current world is everybody okay? You know, aside from everything that's going on,
right? That and sending memes.
Yep.
Oh God, Tab and I were actually sending X-Men 97 memes after the last episode.
I bet.
Oh my God, because she knows how much I love Gambit. Spoilers for X-Men 97 if you haven't caught up.
It's 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks old for them. They know.
Yeah, but we just brought it back up. More pain.
That's true. Oh,
Hey, so Justin,
don't pick fights with ghosts, man.
Stop it. Justin Min, who plays David Park,
Yeah,
is so good.
So good.
There was a moment where I was like, dude, are you gonna be a dick? Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah.
And he wasn't.
Nope, he came back around.
I wondered if it was weird for him to be the living person with a ghost as opposed to the ghost amongst the living people. Yeah.
Honestly, if we had gotten the interview with Justin, I would have asked that.
I really considered it, and I'm sad that I didn't manage well when we were at the screening.
Listeners, if you don't know, Justin also stars in The Umbrella Academy on Netflix, which is great.
Such an amazing performance from him.
Unfortunately, the show is ending soon, so
yeah,
its final season is coming up.
As all good things must.
God, tangent. They're canceling Lower Decks.
Well, I mean, okay, not to say that its time had come, but they're not Lower Deckers anymore.
But I don't know.
I hope that it means that they're moving those characters on to something new, which is what it kind of sounded like.
Well, we do get this one final season, so we'll see what happens over the course of that. But like, I don't know, man. Jack Quaid's post about it sounded like a goodbye instead of a next chapter.
Interesting. The impression I got was that like the show was ending, not like Paramount said, no more of that. As they tend to do.
Maybe it was just the way Variety
because again, you know, like
it, you know, like, oh, Star Trek renews 2 shows and cancels 1.
Yeah, as Star Trek is wont to do.
Jerks.
But as for this film, I just want to be complimentary about so much of the design choices for this, because it is so much about like physical objects as the sort of catalyst to the past, as well as the music is for her. You can see how physical objects are doing that same thing for the people around her. Right. Max's chair for her,
David's car,
all of the records in the record store, David's whole life
because
is just
the thrift store, you know, like
I not only is it an antique store full of things that are relics of the past, but the relics of the past are in fact relics of his past.
Yep,
tying him to his dead parents.
Man.
What a layer.
Yes, there's so many layers to this movie.
Oh, and his sister. What a lovely performance.
Oh yeah, she's great.
From like jerk younger sister to really caring support character is, and quickly, like just turned on a dime.
Right.
She's not going to be the sister the whole time, which was nice. But yeah, and just like the textures and feel of everything, it had that sort of vintage texture is the word I'm going to come back to. Even though we couldn't touch it, you could still like get that like almost like corduroy and vinyl sort of vibe. I thought particularly about the patchwork quality of the sound treatment in her apartment. How it almost looked like a quilt.
Okay, sorry. Just trying to.
You're good.
Trying to suppress that.
Try not to die. Yeah,
you know. Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. You know, one of the things that I wanted to bring up in the interview, but I didn't want to like step over Ned's answer or anything, but was how important, you know, not only physical media, but physical things are, you know, and I know I'm kind of biased because I like collect action figures and random stuff, you know, like my desk, if you look at it right now, is surrounded by minifigures and random things such as Biff Tannen's Griff Tannen's hoverboard as a keychain. There's also an adipose.
Oh, nice.
Jeff the Land Shark.
Hell yeah.
Oogie Boogie's dice, and a minifigure of Ted Lasso from a Lego Ted Lasso.
Ooh.
I got a lot of stuff going on over here, Ansel.
Yeah.
But like my affinity for physical adorbs. Does that say pineapple? Oh my god, I love it. That's so cute. Where'd you get that?
Apparently they're being produced all over the place. I was about to buy one on Etsy, and then I found this one in a gift shop in a tiny town in Illinois. So I'm guessing someone is mass producing them. But what a cute idea it would have been for someone to have handcrafted. It's a little crochet pineapple that says pineapple. It's fine. You're fine. Everything's fine.
Our generation's mantra.
Yeah.
But yeah, you
can get it on a tote bag at World Market.
Yes. But like these tangible things are important. Like physical media is the one way you can truly have like art, like music and films and literature for yourself, right? If you get it all digitally, it can all go away if a server breaks or something. But like having the DVD of a movie ensures that it's in your collection. And like historical artifacts, like not talking about like the Holy Grail and the idol that Indiana Jones go after, which I have both of those.
Of course you do. They belong in a museum, Ben.
Hey, my house is a museum, kind of. But like the actual props from those movies do belong in a museum. Disney does a great job of preserving their cinematic history through their archives. When I went to go watch this movie, I got to watch it on the Disney lot. And so milestone for me, getting invited to the Disney lot for the first time. Awesome. I loved it. It was so great. But when you walk in the Frank G. Wells building, to your left is the archive, and there's a display window with some stuff in it. And like before the movie, I was just like looking at all of it and taking it all in, like the building blocks from Mary Poppins, the stop motion figures from the intro to Freaky Friday. There's a handwritten thank you note from Walt to Roy. It's wild. But like back in the day, whenever you were like building a set and the show got canceled or something, you just strike it and throw it in the dumpster or reuse it to build the next set. But like, I know somewhere out there, the set of Cheers in its entirety is sitting in a warehouse somewhere, because it used to be on display at a museum in Hollywood that is now closed. But they let, museum patrons sit on the bar, sit on the stools, and like do all that stuff. So who knows how well preserved it is now? But
yeah,
I would love for that to make a comeback. Hey, if people can freak out over visiting the set of Cheers, or not Cheers, of Friends on the Warner Brothers tour, Paramount and CBS can probably do something with the Cheers set.
I would be shocked if they don't. Honestly,
I mean, that might take them.
Wasn't there talk of a reunion?
There were mini reunions. Like on ABC, they brought back some of the stars of Cheers to be on the Goldbergs. And then, I mean, Frasier is on the air again, so the door is not entirely closed, especially since Frasier's back in Boston. But like, they've kind of said like, oh, we're not trying to go to that well too many times, I mean, they brought back Lilith. They kind of had to, since she's Freddie's mom. But
yeah.
But BB Newirth can still get it, Just saying, putting it out there.
Heard.
such a random transition, but you know who else can still get it, Ansel? Nelly Furtado.
Nelly Furtado. Good transition.
Oh my
no,
god,
that's good.
Nelly Furtado is a big part of the greatest hits, in that she makes a cameo in the movie, but also one of her songs is very significant in David and Harriet's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see how that evolves, because Harriet is spending so much time with her ex Max through these songs, so getting to see her experience a new song, almost like a whole new record with David, is nice. You see those glimmers of hope in her life, that she can move on, but then she's meeting with some resistance from herself, right? So
Right.
But Nelly Furtado also contributed an original song to this movie, which is super cool. And Ned talked a little bit about that too. That's not the thing that we were going to throw to. What was the other thing that we were going to throw to?
The murder wall.
The murder wall. Right. Yes, Nelly Furtado contributes an original song to the movie. If you tune in a couple weeks, you'll get to hear a little bit more about that from Ned, because we touch on it. But
yeah, it was nice to hear his perspective on how that all came together.
Yeah. But another thing we talked about were Easter eggs, and Harriet's living room wall. Ned called it a murder wall.
Yeah, the murder wall.
It kind of looks like that. But it basically tracks the entire relationship between Harriet and Max through songs. And, when you're watching the movie, it's hard to clock all of the songs that are on that wall. But there's some good ones there.
Yeah. Well, and you asked in our interview about the specific songs on the wall. In the screening I went to, they asked someone else asked about the songs on the wall, and specifically if they were legit. And apparently, the story that he told was that apparently when they showed up on set the first day to shoot, it was not.
Oh.
The set decorators had just sort of like put some random songs on the wall, and it didn't really look coherent enough to him. So on the day, I think it was the day before, the night before shooting, they had to take everything off of the murder wall and redesign it.
Wow.
So that whole thing got redone in the 11th hour, under the specific design instruction of the director, to make sure that the songs were legit. So you could freeze frame that thing and actually glean some prop stuff out of it, or some plot stuff out of it.
I wish that the playlist that he made with all those songs on it was available publicly.
Right,
that would be cool.
That'd be a hell of a Spotify playlist to promote the movie with.
Yeah, I mean, James Gunn did it with his movies. Like he would release the playlist inspiring the thing, and then the actual playlist of the thing. And I always like that, to get a little peek into the mindset to create the story you're telling.
Yeah.
But, as we learned from our conversation with Ned, I feel like he's very meticulous with his details. So even though that story is like wild, I'm not surprised that he had to change the entire murder wall.
We walked in and was like, this murder wall doesn't look anything like a murder wall.
It needs more murder and Kenny G.
You'd never find any dead people this way. Come on.
Yes, but we do have a clip from the interview talking about the wall.
Yeah, let's talk to Past Us.
Yeah, take it away, Past Us. Do you have just like a huge playlist of all of Harriet's safe songs?
I did. Yeah, we did. Initially, like, we were looking at safe songs. I mean, if you look at that wall, there's a ton of songs written on there with dates and,
Mm-hmm.
what they represented and or whether they were safe or not. So it was kind of like this murder board, for lack of a better word, for her kind of like piecing together the entirety of their relationship through music.
Yeah, I've watched the movie 3 times at this point, and I tried not to pause it, to look at the board, the wall, but I did catch Kenny G. What are some of the
Mm-hmm.
other songs that people might be surprised to find on the wall there?
Um, we had some Bob Dylan. There was All We Ever Wanted Was Everything by Bauhaus. Peter Murphy from Bauhaus was in a later Maxell ad, like after the Blown Away ads. I think he was like a model for one of the later ones, so that was like a little thrown to him. Frank Ocean's Siegfried, which is a big song for me. I mean, there were tons.
So, Ansel, we've largely been pretty complimentary of the movie up until this point. Was there anything that took you out of it, or that you felt could have been improved, maybe, or something that you couldn't really suspend disbelief for?
I wouldn't say it's so much of a problem or anything. I did think that the therapist maxims were a little bit airbrushed background on your aunt's Facebook wall quality to me, but I know that you didn't feel the same way. So I'm pleased that it was maybe just my own banal approach to those sort of affirmations.
Well, I mean, you kind of give some concessions to the romantic genre for including things like that, right? Like they're
Exactly.
like mainstays of the genre, no matter what you're splicing it with,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's rom-com or rom-dram.
Richard Roper for the Chicago Sun-Times said, just when you think the greatest hits has painted itself into a corner, the script finds a way and the story leads in just the right place, or lands in just the right place.
I agree.
I thought that was a really great way of putting it, where, yeah, he did sort of keep writing himself into corners and then right back out of them.
Because it's like, is David really going to believe her? Oh, is she really going to move on? Is she actually going to make it so that she never meets Max? And like the first time I was watching it, I was very surprised, because like you're conditioned to believe that something is going to happen, and then when it doesn't, it's just like, whoa, no way. And it still worked out in a really meaningful way.
I mean, I also just think, even just at the top of the movie where they, you learn the premise, okay, she gets thrown back in time by listening to music, and then you're like, you mean the music that's every fucking where in the universe? And then we watch her sort of deal with the ramifications of this mechanism as the sort of center crux of her character growth. I think just from the very top, that's a big part of it, is like, okay, we've given ourselves a really insurmountable challenge, and then they just surmount it.
Yeah. And the end, when they finally meet again, first the dog knows. The dogs always know.
The dog, yeah,
so adorable.
Dogs always know.
See, we told you that we were going to pick up on that thread.
Did you ever watch Needle in a Time Stack?
I don't think so.
Oh man. Okay. Well, hey listeners, if you watched this movie and Ben didn't, there's a great sort of parallel there with the dog / cat from Needle in a Time Stack, Charlie, who shows up periodically in the different iterations of their lives.
Aww.
But it's always Charlie.
I don't know why, but this made me think of a movie on Prime called Wiener Dog, I think, where basically it's the life of this dog and going from oddball owner to oddball owner.
Nice.
It's a cute premise.
Yeah, that's
fine
good
movie, I guess, but it's a cute premise.
All right.
the big question when it comes to all these movies. Ansel, was the greatest hits worth your time?
Absolutely. Yeah, this was exactly the kind of movie that I like to watch. It had good time travel, done well. You know, I love crunchy time travel that's all about like, did you fleetle the florp flap before or after the dingle hopper? And those are cool, but like ultimately the purpose of time travel in fiction is to explore choices and explode the kinds of traumas and narratives that exist in our own real lives. And this really does a great job of utilizing that tool bag to its full extent.
Yeah, I agree. Nostalgia is a powerful thing, and it can be a lot of fun to revel in nostalgia. I mean, I make a good portion of my living from nostalgia and talking about it. My practically my entire personality is nostalgia, I guess. But but as this movie shows, nostalgia can be dangerous. It can close you off. It can hinder your growth, I guess, if you continue to let it haunt you in the way that it does for Harriet. But like you were saying, it was just such an enjoyable ride. It's also not overly long, so it's succinct in its storytelling. Like, it doesn't dwell too long on stuff. It doesn't give you time to really second guess anything. But it really lets you suspend disbelief and really enjoy this tale. And these like, I don't want to call them like mid tier, but like the it's not exactly the blockbuster, right?
Sure, yeah.
We need more movies like this, especially in a theater.
Definitely.
So the fact that the greatest hits got a small but impactful theatrical run was great. I need more of these movies, though. Not saying I need
agreed.
a sequel to the greatest hits, but more movies like this.
But more movies on this scope are definitely, I think, what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, and for everybody who shouted me out after South by Southwest, like Don Shanahan and Zach Shevich, who were like, "Bro, you're gonna love this movie. This movie is like written for you." I'm just like, yeah, no, it totally is. All the details, all the nostalgia, the music, I get it. I totally get it.
So it was worth your time?
Absolutely. I mean, enough so that I watched it 3 times already. So
yeah. Pretty telling.
Yeah. So I hope you got a feel of this film from our review. It's just one of those films that you're just like all up in your feels about, I guess. Yeah, hopefully 100%. That came across. We'll be back next week with more on the greatest hits, potentially with some more clips of our interview with Ned. But before that, you can find us on the internet. I'm at B Silverio 20 on Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, Tinder.
Yeah. I am at Indecisionist on Twitter and at The Indecisionist on all the meta properties and everywhere else that matters that you're probably on. Blue Sky and Hive, sure. If you're on those, I'm there. I'm not posting, but I'm there.
If you'd like to join the conversation, you can use the hashtag #TimeToParty. That's #2party.
And #2party, all spelled out, thanks to Warwick.
Oh, party people. This is a good one. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
He's good.
So tune in next week. We'll get into our entertainment. And then the week after that, you can expect a nice little treat in your pod feeds. Well, party people, we all know that you're like a bird about to fly away from us. As you do that, we want you to remember to be excellent to each other.
And party on, dudes.
Like a bird.
I'm learning to fly away. I don't know where my soul is.
So sorry, Nelly Furtado.
Rest in peace, that song.